Oh, I think I have hyperfast fatigue. But after hearing how some people thought that this was a potential boot of the year contender, I just couldn't hold back. And after having tried them already, I can honestly say this could potentially rival or beat the regular Hyperfast. And I already thought that was a solid boot of the year contender already. Yep, that is right. So what is going on, guys? I would not be making this video if I didn't feel like this pair was good enough. Yeah, so we got this in a, so it's in the special limited collection box, F50 Elite Hyperfast FG leather tech pack in my usual size 9 US. Yeah. Once we unbox it, you will see what we're talking about here. As you saw from the intro, this, people have told me, has some serious OG F50 leather vibes, which I believe from the spider, correct me if I'm wrong, the two-tone kind of design here, I think it looks pretty darn sick, especially if you look at, look at how shiny and nice it looks. Whew. But that's not the main star of the show. The main star of the show is that it's leather. Okay, first of all though, you get a paper in here. We kind of skip past this, but it's okay, we'll show you it now. Ooh, wow, okay. Wow, this bag is a lot cooler than I thought it was. Holy, this is definitely worth. I'll talk about the price in a second, but yeah, leather pouch. And you got a mesh style here too. They're bringing back the OG feeling of the OG string bags. Oh wow, it's been a while since I've been blown away by a string bag. But of course, those of you who have, you know, if I remember correctly, the Nike string bags of the past, where it was an actual pouch, kind of like what you got with the Montebelluna Tiempo of the last generation, which I showed you in the Maestro video. Those might be better than this, but still, regardless, pretty neat. And we'll get the other boot out of the, well, wait a minute. What the, huh? Dude, they gave me a, what? No, I'm just kidding. So I got two. I got the F50 and the Pred. Now we're only keeping one of them. Okay, first of all, let's just put everything in the bag. This is all you get in the bag, yada, yada, yada. Let's pop all this straight away. How's my acting skills, by the way? I need to work on it. But whatever. You guys are not here for the acting. You guys are here for, honestly, I don't know even why I'm doing a review of this, because I generally don't really like reviewing limited releases, because my job here is to help you guys test boots so you guys don't have to. That's my whole gist. And I'm not saying this is extremely limited, but for most people, this, unless you're quick, well, these didn't even get sold out straight away, but your size might have. Okay, so, nah, you know what? Whatever. These aren't highly limited, but what I'm trying to say is that they are still limited nonetheless. The Pred for the Adidas website, my size got sold out and I had to go somewhere else, which I don't particularly like to do because Adidas had vouchers and stuff and yada, yada, yada. And these weren't cheap, $450. But you know what? With the unboxing experience, you know what? I'll take that over the 500 Australian dollars of the Evo any day of the week. But anyway, back to these boots. Oh my goodness. These boots, look at how glorious these looks. And like, it brings you back to the OG days, man. Look at the Easter eggs, or the design details with the 1994, the Predator, old Predator logo with the, I believe this is leather too. Actually the other pair, which actually I'll grab to you in a little bit. But it has the other design. Actually, I'll do it now, just to show you guys. But there's a reason I'm not showing you guys this pair yet. I'll get to it. But yeah, that thing is there. And I think it might, okay, so this is chrome, so this will just peel off, which sucks. But overall, I think I'm a bigger fan of the Pred. As you see the design detail there. And also the inside. Don't know how well you can see that. You can kind of see that. I like this more than this, in terms of the design aspects or the way it looks. But the one unfortunate thing though is that with the leather version, I thought this was gonna be a floating standalone tongue, but unfortunately it is still the compression fit tunnel system, the halo belt. Hopefully you can see that. Which is kind of annoying, because if you know me, you know I'm not a big fan, but that is coming from someone who has semi-wide feet, and I know that, I'm not trying to hide that. So all I'm gonna say is that the halo belt tunnel system is more suited for narrow foot type. It's fine. I mean, it depends what material it is, because overall it keeps your foot like really stuck in that midfoot, but it makes it so that it's harder to break in for different foot shapes, like people with more wider midfoots, for example. But it ultimately depends on the material on the outside. And what I've learned from the previous generation F50, the Fiber Touch one, is that one is a lot more of a struggle to break in than the Hyperfast is. So yeah, not a big fan, but it is what it is. But also the fact that, if I am correct, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what it appears is that only the forefoot area is leather, and they're calling it Taurus leather, which is kind of like Adidas's premium calf leather. So not exactly fusion skin, but it's like very padded, and I'm sure it'll feel really nice. Like I said, I already had these on feet, and yeah, I'll get to that in a second. I'm not going to talk about that. I'll get to that when I get to the pitch. So this one, I believe, is only leather, if I'm correct, here in the forefoot too. As you can see, there's a bit of a seam here. I don't know if you can tell how clear that is, but this part definitely, it feels more synthetic leather than actual leather. And this is one where I want to get the other pair to show you, because as you can see here, it's kind of deformed. And it's because I've been doing this to test it, and I'm not gonna lie, like someone actually told me this is like ass, because it feels like the thickness is as thick as a leather wallet's thickness. But what I want to say is that when I first felt the leather of this in hand, like listen to this. It feels like plastic. And you do that and there's like kind of, it looks like that, and then here you don't get the same texture. So I'm assuming only this part is leather, which is really stupid, honestly. But if you get the previous, now this is a boot that I really have enjoyed a lot more than the synthetic counterparts. And I believe this is fusion skin, and everywhere alongside the boot is kind of like fusion skin. So it's not limited in a way, if that makes sense. At least that's what it feels like at first glance. The reason I bring this up is because this time, okay, so I'm gonna, wait, I already told you, I already kind of spoiled it with the title and thumbnail, I think. But if I haven't, let me just say here, so I would keep this, but because of the price point, I'm only going to keep one of them. And it's most likely going to be the F50 because now normally I would keep this. Now, what I think of it, the limited edition leather Predators, I believe this is the first time they're doing something on the mainstream F50. Correct me if I'm wrong, the last few generations when the F50 came out. Regardless, what I'm trying to say is that leather Preds have always been phenomenal and 100% worth getting if you ever have the chance to get. That's my opinion. The Oteros, I wasn't able to get. I heard good things about it. I had the David Beckham leather Preds as well. I have this one, the BSR ones. This one also is quite a bit of a throwback as well. But the only problem is, it's on the other pair, but this part peels off. So the quality control isn't that good. But I will have to say, I really enjoyed this. However, it's unfortunate that the heel area is just still not it. And it's the same for this one too. The heel area is just, Although I'm gonna be completely honest, I put this on and it wasn't actually that bad, but it is still the Pred 26 shaping, which means that it feels a lot tighter on the midfoot. And because this is synthetic leather, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what it feels like at first glance. It feels like it definitely will not stretch as much as if it was like something like this, which is like fusion skin all around. Like this is just, you know, again, this is fusion skin is like a mix of synthetic leather and the calf skin, I believe. But I think this looks cooler though. 450 Australian dollars. I don't know if I want to keep both of them. So I think what will probably end up happening is I'm probably gonna keep the one that feels and fits the best for me. And I've said this before, I've said this time and time again, and I'll say it again. I think the Hyperfast, the F50 is the best silo from Adidas this generation by far. By far. I haven't even tried the Cobra Pure 4 yet, but I don't even want to because sizing issues and I've talked about this before, and I do not rate the Pred. I do not rate the folded tongue Pred right now. This Pred, this version of the Pred, I do not rate at all. I've said this time and time again. I'll talk more about it in depth once we get on the pitch. So without further ado, let's just go to the pitch. What's going on, guys? Welcome to my local pitch with the leather F50 and the leather Pred. Now, unfortunately, I came on a Thursday, a day that I normally don't come, and there was a really loud ass guy mowing, and there's a fire truck over there. It's a bit hectic, so I do apologize if the sound quality isn't that good this video. You know, you might hear some noise in the background, don't blame me. But anyway, now here's what I wanted to talk about with these two boots. Okay, so before we get started, before we get to the play test, I'll only play with this only, and here's why. Now, the in-studio portion, I filmed first, so I get that out of the way, then I film my short. So you might have seen a short talking about, you know, the leather tech pack in general and reiterating on some things. So if you've seen that, then the in-studio, you might be like, hang on, you missed talking about some stuff. Well, here's the thing, okay? Here's what I think about these boots. And so for both of these boots, I can confirm both are synthetic in the midfoot. I have, you know, they're definitely more synthetic in the midfoot, and it's in the name, leather tech pack. Now, so in terms of the OG representations, this one is more of a clear representation because the OG one, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that the Spider was half synthetic, half leather. This one, on the other hand, is more of a modern reinterpretation of a classic. You know, classic Preds, they're all leather. I feel like, you know, some might even say that this is nostalgia for nostalgia's sake. Some might also say it's just modern representation or interpretation. And, you know, the reason I say that is because, you know, just like the leather F50, what they did was they introduced synthetic to the sides, as I showed you, you know, and only a leather forefoot, which, being someone like me, who really enjoyed leather Preds of the past, like I said earlier, this part probably doesn't have the tendency to stretch as much and mold as well to your feet. But I mean, here's the thing, and this is what they're going for. So they're going for lightweightness. So, you know, leather, you got the leather in the forefoot. Tech, you got the lightweightness of the new synthetic material. Take of it or make of it what you will, but you know, it's it depends on what you think. But my personal opinion is that it's a shame that this isn't like leather all around like the Fusion Skin Preds of the past. So what I think is that if you really enjoy those, you might not enjoy this one. And I don't know why people are saying like, oh, so much better this one than the regular ones of this generation. They're like the same thing in a way. Like, you know, it only has leather in the forefoot, and the forefoot is like a quarter of the entire body of the product. So look, every special edition is different. I understand, you know, special edition, like the synthetic might differ from the regular ones. It might stretch out to be better, you know, but from my experience with the regular ones, like the laceless one, as you guys know, the ones that are customized, even playing them laceless, I just couldn't play in them anymore, because for someone like me, the synthetic midfoot just doesn't stretch enough for my feet. And, you know, some of you might be like, yeah, I have semi-wide feet, sure, you know, fair play. But the Hyperfast, a speed boot, it still molds really well to my feet, better than a control boot. And I know it's all marketing, right? But still. So I'm not actually gonna put these on, but I will show you a segment right here of what it was like side by side. And as you can see here, you know, it does feel better. So I'm not saying the Preds, they won't break in, this and that. You know, they felt really uncomfortable. Like my midfoot just felt so incredibly claustrophobic in there. You know, and look at the deformation. Like it just doesn't fit my feet that well. And you know, I know from experience from the laceless ones that they're just not gonna be one that I'm gonna end up enjoying. So because of that, just gonna be playing these. So I just wanted to talk to you guys about that first and foremost. But yeah, anyway, getting the F50 on feet, and I feel like for most people, this is the one to get. And I'm excited to test this out, though I don't think it's going to be too much different from the regular Preds or regular F50s. Though one thing that I always do, and this is something that you guys probably should do as well, is tie the runner's loop. So some of you might have complained, and I've heard some people complain about the regular Hyperfast. This part flares up just like the previous gens. Unlike the previous gens though, they give you an extra lace hole, or they move the last lace hole a bit further up so that the runner's loop, it feels more like a dedicated runner's loop. Yes, you can do that in the previous gens, but it just doesn't feel as good because of the material. Sprint, oh, I mean, fiber, I was gonna say sprint frame. Fiber touch, hold on, is a lot more of a, you know, stiffer material than this. This one molds so much to your feet, and I literally could tie these and play with these, like I said, with no problems at all. Like these just, they mold so well. But I will say that the previous, the regular pair doesn't exactly mold that or fit my feet the best. But this one might. Oh, the guy's back. The guy is back. I do apologize if sometimes my intro or, you know, the stuff that I say, sometimes I overlap words or, you know, ramble a bit too much. Sometimes stuff in the environment distracts me, so don't blame me, but hopefully I got the point across about the new leather tech pack. Hopefully you guys understood more, you know. That's what they're going for now, which is kind of a shame in my opinion. Therefore, you know, I really liked Fusion Skin leather threads, and I said they were a must buy just because the material just stretched so much better, molded so much better, but this one doesn't look like it's going to be the case. But yeah, here's an on feet look at the boots. It's pretty sick, pretty sick. I will say one thing, and you know, this comes back to the fact that the Hyperfast doesn't fit me too well, and it's that here I notice a bit of discomfort. I don't know if you can see this, but here it like bulges outwards. I feel like there's some kind of material here that is like creasing up that will give me blister. I don't know, remains to be seen though. But one thing I also want to guys show you is, compared to the regular Hyperfast, right off the bat at least, this part feels like it gives me more room here where I'm the widest, which is pretty cool. So I'm hoping it'll stretch better, but like I said, this part is synthetic and it has the Halo Belt Plus too, so won't stretch as well as you want it to maybe, I don't know. But unlike the regular Hyperfast, this part does not flare up. This part does. It really depends. What I can say is that I'm not coming Thursdays anymore. Good, we don't want you. Who said that? Okay, so one thing I can say, after I just got done doing some warm-up and resistance banding, is that I've heard some people complain that, you know, this the F50 is a bit too padded, and my response to that is just get the regular Hyperfast. Like, if you think this is too padded, just get the regular Hyperfast. That, like, I think the review is already finished, honestly. So I'm just gonna really just play for fun today, and while chatting to you guys. But yeah, no, you know, because listen, I think this is a boot that you get if, you know, you want something a bit more padded. The regular Hyperfast is still a really good option. It's solely up to you. You know what I mean? And I do like how, you know, Adidas are giving us options. Bringing back the leather F50. I unfortunately never tried them in the past. But another thing I can say, after just having played them for a little while, is that these fit a bit looser than the regular Hyperfast. In terms of, you know, even doing the runner's loop, they feel a bit loose in the I wasn't ready for that. But yeah, they feel a bit looser in the toe box, in the heel area, even with the runner's loop. To be honest, I'm fine with that though. Like, if I'm gonna be completely honest, the only bad thing I can say right off the bat is that it really depends on your foot shape. For me, this part is like really starting to grab at this area, and I'm only experiencing discomfort here, which is kind of annoying. Hopefully that goes away with play, but that is one thing to watch out for. I know, you know, not every one of us has, as people call it, as wonky of a foot shape as mine. People just like to hate for no reason, man. But all I can say is, yeah, that is a bit uncomfortable. But overall, touching the ball, It's got that really nice padded leather feeling while being incredibly locked in the midfoot with the synthetic, which is what you want. A bit looser than a regular Hyperfast, but I don't really mind that. I do wish they went away with the Halo Belt Plus for this version, because I feel like what's cutting me up there, and the part that I'm really feeling some discomfort right now, is the end of the Halo Belt. But it's weird, eh? Because, you know, this feels like a one-for-one remake of the regular Hyperfast, just leather instead. But while it feels similar, it kind of also doesn't at the same time. And I don't know, everyone's feet are different, I suppose. And the quality consistency of some models vary differently as well. But yeah, so that's really annoying. So all I can say is, do I prefer this over the regular Hyperfast right now? We'll have to see. But I would say definitely a yes if this part, it's really starting to cut up my midfoot, dude. And I really don't know what that is, because I have not experienced this in the other foot, just the left foot for some reason. And I wore these socks with this boot too. Where is it? Wait, no. I don't know where it is. Honestly, I think it's just where the leather, the stitch that meets the synthetic on this one foot. And like I said, you might not have it, right? But I'm just telling you my experience. If you put these on and you feel like they are uncomfortable, you know, right off the bat, like that it is cutting or pinching that part, then, you know, it's gonna pinch. But I guess what I'm here to do is see if that part, you know, after the first session gets, you know, broken in, that it doesn't cause me any discomfort anymore. So I'm gonna come back to the end of the video, hopefully, and tell you my solution or what happened, because I do think that these are a tiny bit wider in the midfoot for me than the regular ones, which I really like, bar the, what do you call it? The Halo Belt Plus area. So again, the comments that I made in terms of like, just get the regular Hyperfast if you want a thin, more barefoot feeling and you feel like this is too padded. This is basically like a more padded regular Hyperfast. Pretty much it. So, you know, I mean, it depends what you want. Is this worth $100 more though? That's the question. I'm telling you right off the bat, no. I don't know. Like, I think, you know, it has that more plush feel on the ball, so I would prefer this more than a regular, that's for sure. The problem is, like most limited releases, the studs are still FG. I've talked about this before. I guess I'll briefly mention again. I think the FG Hyperfast studs are doable. Like, they are thin and they are chevron kind of like bladed, but at the same time, they are very grounded and the studs aren't too long. So, you know, I'm fine. But obviously, if I was to play an actual game, I'd get the one that has, what do you call it? The AG readily available ones, which for us in Australia, they don't have them in laceless or Evo. The Evo, I'm pretty sure it doesn't even have AG studs in general. Ooh, close one. But yeah, for us, only the third Chaos vs Control pack of the regular Hyperfast got the AG treatment. So, you know, for someone, if you want to play, if you play on AG, I think the regular Hyperfast AG is good enough in my opinion. Like, okay, so they are available. I'm not saying the AG version for the laceless isn't available. It's just that for us, we have to hunt overseas, which, you know, costs generally more. Oh, I think that was just off. I think that just didn't cross the line. Oh, man. Playing these are very joy though. But man, I'm just so like disappointed. And you know, I get comments like this all the time. And this is why I love these videos, so that I can chat with you guys more. You know, and I appreciate every single one of you guys. Don't think I don't. Even if you watch, even if you're a lurker, if you comment, that's even better. I just like chatting to you guys about stuff. And you know, one that nipped the post. Whew. Man, these boots feel like a power boot did when I strike a ball. But no. Oh man. So like people on my shorts, right? And I said one of my videos, I don't respond to YouTube or TikTok shorts because most of the stuff I see is low IQ rage bait. Like some people are just doom scrollers. I'm not saying every one of you, you know, I grew most of my audience through shorts. It's just that they're just some dickheads, right? And some people are like, oh, don't review boots, you know, you always like, oh, it's hard to talk and to play at the same time, but I want to get this point across before I move on. But some people are like, oh, you know, stop dissing a boot. You know, you never give factual. You always say stuff like in terms of what fits you the best. You don't give overall general advice. Listen, is me not talking about my experience not general advice? Like, I don't understand. And I'm not molding or triggered. Sometimes I want to vent. So excuse me for wanting to vent and rant, but we're nearly done, so don't worry. But yeah, like, look, I mean, everything about these videos is from my experience. What am I gonna say, you know? Oh, that was just, man, these last few reps haven't been good, eh? But you get the idea. You know, like, don't at me with some BS like that, because look, you know, I'm just here to talk about my experience while giving you as non-biased of an opinion as I possibly can. And by being non-biased, I tell you that, you know, this feels pretty similar to the regular Hyperfast. Just if you want more of a padded sensation, get this, right? Yeah. And also, you might not have what I'm talking about, with this part being very uncomfortable right now and cutting the hell out of my left foot. Like, it is very uncomfy. Without this, these would be awesome. But again, it's from my experience. What else am I gonna say, you know? People just want to hate, bro. They see someone semi-successful, and you know, they don't see the work that I put in to all my content. Whatever. Rant over. I am glad that the guys doing the infill aren't on today. They're normally on Wednesdays. So there's only a bunch of workers working around the outside of this pitch. Pretty good. One thing I also forgot to mention, because I was busy talking about the boots, is look how sick this fit is, dude. The black socks, whew. And that's the reason why I wore these. Man, these, yeah, another thing I wanted to say is it depends which socks you have as well. But I have worn these socks, not these ones, but the white ones, with the regular Hyperfast, and it's fine. They're not the grippiest, They are pretty comfy though, but they're not that good. If you guys want to know the grip socks that I recommend or like, I have some codes down below which you can check out. Those ones are ones that I really vouch for and the ones that I personally use. And also, if you haven't already, click the join button. If you like the content, if you want to support me, just you know, click the join button, become a VIP, and you get exclusive access to an additional video a week. Who doesn't want that? You know, where I talk about future plans, behind the scenes stuff, networking, anything really. It could be literally anything. Also, you get these videos before everyone else, and if you guys want to see me review a boot, like, I'll be much more willing. Like, it's more of a tight-knit community. But anyway, penalty challenge. And ow, I don't think I'm gonna pass this challenge because my left foot is just killing, man. My left foot is killing me. And it's weird how I don't feel that on my right boot, but I feel it on my left. How does that make any sense? Yeah, it's not where the it's hard to feel where it is, but I don't think it's where the Halo Belt Plus is. Hopefully, and that's the best thing about these videos, hopefully I can come back in a week's time and be like, oh, it got better, or it didn't get better, because I feel like it's gonna give me blisters. I don't know if I'd count that as top corner, guys. I think if I had the quick shot elements there, it would probably just pass it. So, I don't know, man. You guys let me know if I passed the challenge or not. But should I do it again? Nah. We're gonna focus on condensing our content, but I don't think that's that convincing. Normally I'd play like a jingle to say that I passed it, but I'm not gonna add that. But you let me know if I did pass it. Alright, say hello to a new segment on this episode, or the show, the crossbar challenge. We're gonna be bringing that. One on each feet. Okay, well, we got it first try last time, so that was really poor. Oh wow, okay. The reversal today. Last week we were trash with our right. This week we were trash with our left, but don't blame me because this part is just cutting the hell out of my feet. I think I need to take these off. Alright, as I just took these boots off to see whether or not, you know, it just had to do with me putting them on, I'm gonna stretch this a bit more, this Halo Belt thing. We'll just have to see. I don't think this is a session where it will get better. I noticed it from when I first put these on the feet, so you know, it doesn't. We'll see if they get better over the course of the next week or not. But anyway, got the drone flying up above. We're gonna get some drone footage and then we're gonna dip set. Because, oh yeah, I still feel it. Oh my days. So I'm like really puzzled as to why I feel it only on one foot and not the other. You guys let me know if you feel what I'm feeling right now. It might just be a me thing. Like I said, you know, I'm just here to tell you from my experience. You might have a different experience. And if you do, then all the power to you. I like this drone because I can get like higher, but not too high though. Higher of a POV, but it does take longer to set up. That's why after this we're just gonna dip set. But yeah, that was pretty shocking. But just yeah. So to conclude, all I'm gonna say is that this is pretty, you know, not that dissimilar from the regular Hyperfast. I think the best thing about this boot is the fact that it feels, and I think I should have mentioned this at the start, but I didn't. The regular Hyperfast, at least this generation's, you know, the new F50, has more of a, just spun last, but it has more of a, what do you call it? A synthetic leather feel anyway. Yeah, so what this is, it feels less glossy and I believe less sticky. You know, the regular one is a bit glossy. This one is more matte, more of a cleaner strike. Oh yeah, I am feeling it today. Some days I don't feel it, some days I do. Trying to do the rainbow. I can't do it though. I mean, check this. Oh, that was way too little of one. There we go. Haven't done one of those in a while. Normally in these playtests, I'm not looking to be too impressive, you know? Like I've been saying this whole time. I'm just looking to play while talking to you guys. Oh! Play while talking to you guys. Oh! Let's move to the, let's go to the other side. Whatever. I don't want to make the same mistake of, doing the same drill over and over again to get that shot and then straining myself for the next few days. All right, so, oh, going the wrong way. To conclude, these boots I would pick over the regular Hyperfast except for that area I told you. So I don't really need to even conclude this video. They don't feel that dissimilar. Is it worth $100 over the regular? If you can get a discount, then I'd say, you know, it is worth paying a little bit. The launch edition of the Hyperfast actually costed $450 as well, Australian. Which was the same as these. So technically I actually paid the same amount for that one and this one. So if we take that into the equation, I would say these are more worth getting, only if you have wider feet, and if you don't mind a more padded sensation. But even if it's padded, it's not that bad. Like I said, except for this one thing, which I hope goes away. If I didn't have that one problem, this is definitely, I say, a solid boot of the year. I would probably say that. And I said that about the regular Hyperfast. So it makes sense that I'm saying it about these. I think that's it. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. I will come back in a week's time to tell you how it feels. And if this goes away, which I hope it will. I don't know if it will give me blisters, but I have noticed in certain boots, like the Skechers Razor, and also another boot, I can't remember, but this part also did give me blisters. So it might just be a me thing. However, I don't notice it on my right foot, but I notice it on my left for some reason. It's so weird. So maybe that's a me thing, but even then, like, I hope it goes away. If it doesn't go away, I prefer the regular ones, but if it does go away, I prefer these. But let's just say I have no problems in either of them, then I would prefer these. Okay, I can't do the transition I normally do with so hopefully I don't cut my fingers. What's going on, guys? Welcome to my backyard, here to give you a quick little update on the leather F50s. Man, so before we get started though, there are some things I do want to address, and that comes with, you know, my thoughts on these boots as well. So yeah, but sorry if you hear any background noise. My neighbor's, what is he doing? He's changing his underpants in the middle of the road. Anyway, so man, I want to get that image out of my mind. So I'm a bit frazzled. But anyway, so at the start I talked about the leather preds. I didn't talk about that too much more. And you know, I got some people saying, oh, I'm such a picky reviewer, this, that. Listen, I talk everything from experience, okay? And you know, I've had the privilege of testing this many boots. I want to give as much of a detailed thoughts as possible, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, people come here for my non-BS reviews, and then I get people who say, oh, you know, you're this, you're that. Like, piss off, right? It's just my opinion, and I'm free to give my opinion. And I think that, yeah, sure, some people might like the new leather pred, right? But for me, I just think this time Adidas is really stingy with the leather, you know, the premium calf leather feel. I said last generation for the Fusion Skin ones that should have been the regular Predator. It should have been. It should have just been Fusion Skin. This time, I don't know why they did not wrap the leather forefoot around the whole upper, you know. Make it more of an OG representation, just like this one, right? Where, you know, the OG Spider was leather in forefoot, synthetic in the midfoot. I'm pretty sure, at least that's what I found out when I did some research, at least. So don't blame me. But, you know, that's just what I think. And I know while the forefoot of the Predator is the part of the boot that, you know, you're going to strike the ball with, you're going to, you know, what do you call it? Juggle with. Honestly, in a game, you only really feel it when you strike the ball. You know, when you pass, you're still feeling the synthetic, you know, and because it's synthetic, it's not going to mold as well to your foot. So I don't feel like I have to justify my decisions and my opinions. I talk from experience, and it kind of pisses me off, honestly, when I get people who are like talking smack about me, even though I took like 7 hours to make a single shot. And then I get, anyway, that's besides the point. So you came here for this, and you know, throughout the last few weeks, I will say that I did experience some blistering, and it was after the first session. So coming back after a week, I feel like inconclusive because after playing in a week, the blister got larger. So as you can see here, I'll pop an image here of the image I got after my first play test. So what you just saw, and then the, you know, after the next few sessions, the blister got larger. So what I will say is this: if you don't have this issue, and this is me being non-biased, right? If you don't have this issue, I would definitely, and you don't mind how padded it is. Like, I don't even think this is that padded, to be honest. I would definitely much prefer these than a regular Hyperfast. And me saying definitely is kind of crazy. And here's another thing I forgot to talk about. So, you know, you have to excuse me. And, you know, if you comment anything that tells me you clearly didn't watch the video or this part, then I won't respond. And that'll, you know, piss me off even more, because this is why these portions are really good, because when I do a playtest, it's non-scripted. So sometimes I just leave out stuff. For example, I forgot to talk about the regular Hyperfast, but I came into the playtest with the assumption that you guys already saw that video that I did. So I didn't talk about or how plush the heel area is, you know, how, actually, you know what? I kind of did talk about it. Yeah, but you know, I might have not have talked about how more in depth as some of you might like. But there's important thing that I did leave out, and that's the sizing. Now, my regular Hyperfast sizing is a size 9 US. That is my true size. This size 9 US as well. So go the same size, but be cautious that the toe box and heel area, or mainly the toe box, feels a bit more roomier, but for me that's fine because the regular Hyperfast fits me borderline. Like, it's just a bit too tight. This is like so much better fitting. And I feel like if it didn't have that compression fit tunnel system, this would be almost like and that problem that I have, it would be like a perfect boot. Like, it might even be my boot of the year. Because I do notice, like, when playing, the compression fit tunnel system, and it's not where I had the problem, like a bit higher in like the toe box, lower or higher. Either way, you get the idea. About here, I have it around here where I do feel some pressure, and it's not the best if you have semi-wide feet or wider foot midfoots, like I said. Another thing I forgot to talk about was, so I said I was confused at why I only felt it on my left foot and on my right. And that was coming into it, you know, where I wore the same socks with the regular Hyperfast, did not feel that at all with the regular Hyperfast. And this is what I mean when I say it might be a me thing. You guys might be like, oh, wonky, you know, your left and your right foot don't always, you know, fit the same, or they might be slightly different. I feel like my feet are the same. And the reason why I bring up the fact that I thought it was weird it only happened to my left is because I've tried hundreds of boots. Like, I've tested so many boots, and this issue that I have doesn't happen. This is probably one of the only boots that it happens with. Probably out of 100 boots, I probably only have this problem like 1, 2, 3 times. I had it with the Skechers Razor 1.5. So, yeah, but it's just weird because I don't even think it has to do with where the synthetic meets the leather. It just has to be with the bulging and just the weird formation that when I put my feet in these, and only the left one, that the synthetic material, and it only happens in the synthetic part, creases up. So, you know, hopefully it gets better. Hopefully. I will say though, I say inconclusive because okay, this dog, man. What was I talking about? Basically, all I'm gonna say is this: I prefer these ones more than the Hyperfast, the regular ones, which is actually kind of crazy to me. When I was making this short this week, I put both on side by side, and when I took the regular ones off and I put these on, wow, they just felt so much more comfortable and so much more plush, not that padded. And, you know, the regular ones almost feel kind of stiff. And it's weird I say that because the material actually molds really well to your feet and it's not really that stiff, but the jump from that one to this one feels like the jump from the Fiber Touch F50, so the previous gens to the current gens, which is a pretty decent jump. Like, it's a whole nother level is what I'm trying to say. If you can get past the patterness, and if you don't have the problem that I have, which I haven't really seen anyone else really have, but, you know, like I said, I talk everything from my experience. And, you know, if you don't have that problem, all the power to you. You know, I'm not saying, oh, this boot is ruined. The one problem, I don't know what title I title this video, but the one problem I have with these boots isn't even a problem that you guys might have or might care about, but I'm just sharing my experience, right? But I will say, even though it's inconclusive, it did kind of get better. I will continue testing these boots. The reason I say that is because I changed socks and it kind of got better. And the second session did feel a bit better, but I don't know if it's because my blister healed a bit or not. So that's why I say like in a week's time of me testing, and you know, unfortunately I wasn't able to test this more for this video. However, I will still mention it like towards the end of the year and later, perhaps in later videos, whether or not the annoying thing goes away. And that will definitely play in part to like if this is in my top 5 of the year. And I will say one thing, if this issue persists, for me, it won't be in the top 5. But if it doesn't persist, it will definitely be in the top 5. Whether or not it will win Boot of the Year entirely, I'm not quite sure about, but I guess we'll see. So there, I'll leave it at that. I think that's a very solid conclusion I gave for you guys. Let me know what you guys think. Give me, you know, your comments, anything you think, any questions you have, like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more. And I will leave it off this though. If you guys do want more, and I will update you guys on this boot, not even before the end of the year. But if you guys do actually want more, click the join button, be a member, become a VIP today. You guys get, you know, like I said in the video, early access, these playtests earlier. You get an additional, and this is the main point of these, not only to support me, because making content is like a full-time job without the pay. It's like really hard. You guys don't understand. But also, I think the best part about that is that you're paying like $2 to $3 a month for an additional video a week. And that additional video could be anything. It literally could be anything. My behind the scenes life, future plans, any recommendations you guys have, I'll heed more. But also the most important thing is that I will update you guys on boots that, like this one, that I just didn't have the time to test out more in my weekly episodes. So treat my content, this is what I want my channel to be. Weekly deep dives or playtests, you know, where it's like an episode. Once it's done, it's pretty much done, you know. But that's how I want to treat it. And that's, you know, I could make 1 month reviews. I generally just don't have time for that. I generally just have time for the deep dives. But, you know, if you guys want to join a membership, I will talk about boots like this one more. So for the members, if you're already a member, yeah, within the next few weeks, I will probably post a video about this boot more, saying if the problem persists or goes away. But for now, I think I wrapped up the solid conclusion, and yeah, hope you guys enjoy this video, and hope you guys stay if you're new and keep supporting the channel and seeing where it goes. But yeah, that's about it, and take it easy, guys. Have a rest, have a good rest of the week, and I'll see you guys next week.